and a representative of the House. And why don't we start to the man who's in my sight, standing next to Senator Irons, who's been a big supporter. I want to thank him. I want to also thank Senator Paul Kelly for the work that he's done. He was very steady, very stable, very supportive, and very caring in so many ways, not just for this project for the city of Providence, but in so many others. So let's have a big Providence welcome for Senator Paul Kelly.
The mayor always has nice things to say because there's another budget coming up and he wants to make sure that Providence gets its fair share. I would also like to thank the mayor. I would like to thank Governor Sunderland for working with the mayor from the very beginning. I think both of these people had the vision that the best days of Rhode Island are ahead of it, not behind it, and they stayed the course all the way. I would be reluctant, be reticent if I did not acknowledge Senator Irons from the Senate, who steered this project through the Senate. And as Dan Lugash knows, it was a torturous project to steer through because not everyone was a believer, and there's a certain amount of skepticism that prevailed. I'd like to acknowledge Senator Mary Ellen Goodwin, who was one of the driving forces when it comes to Providence, Rhode Island. Because Mary Ellen Goodwin is the type of person, when she leads that delegation, says, this is not only good for Providence, this is good for the state of Rhode Island. I'd like to acknowledge also Senator Roney from Providence, and Senators Graziano and Palazzo and Walton and Ruggiero and Senator Perry and Caprio, and last but by no means least, one of Providence's finest, Senator Bob Kells. This is a happy day for Providence, and this is a happy day for the state, and it's wonderful to have the type of leaders who have brought this to fruition. I said to Dan Lugash earlier, are all the projects that you do, Dan, this easy? And Dan said, no, this is about the easiest project I've ever had that I can recall. But I hope I never have another one like it. Again, congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to the administration, to Governor Almond for having the foresight to know that this was good for the state, this is good for the state, and I think this is going to be the crowning jewel in Providence and for the state of Rhode Island. Thanks very much.
Thank you. I, too, want to recognize the entire delegation, and certainly Mary Ellen, who's here, but we made an agreement that only one would speak from the Senate. But Mary Ellen, if you want to come down and say hello, you certainly can. You see Senator, okay. The next person I'd like to recognize is a man from the House. And there is no bigger advocate for the city of Providence or even the state of Rhode Island than Paul Mora. And you know, you all know him as a reticent, laid-back kind of person, extremely reticent, who doesn't really speak his mind. That is probably the biggest understatement of the year. Paul Mora has been a big advocate for this mall and also a big advocate for so many things in the city of Providence. And he and Steve Smith, who are the leaders of the delegation to the House, along with some other representatives who are here, Joanne Giannini, one, and Tom Slater, I see, Gordon Fox. Who else is here? Oh, Stephen Constantino. So many of them here. Anybody that I miss?
Stephen Smith.
Stephen Smith, I said first. You've got to pay attention. But Paul Mara and Steve Smith do handle the delegation for us, and they do a remarkable job telling the Providence story. So at this time, I'd like to give an opportunity to Representative Paul Mora to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'll be very brief. I'd like to commend everyone that's here, the people that started working on this a long time ago, former Mayor Paolino, former Governor Sunderland, for their vision. I'd really like to single out a couple of individuals that are not here. They just do a lot of work up in that State House. They're not much for press conferences and glory, but when this thing was dead in the House Finance Committee, and believe me, this thing was dead. We did not have the votes to get this out of the House Finance Committee, but my leaders, Representative Carullo and Representative Howard, Speaker of the House, along with the Senate leadership, worked with the governor's office and Dan Lugash in renegotiating the deal to get the votes in not only in the House Finance Committee, but a 2/3 vote on the House floor, which was extremely important. And I'd like to single them out, and also the chairman of the Finance Committee, Antonio Pires, who has been extremely good to the city of Providence. Though they may not be here, I know their hearts are here, and they deserve a big round of applause, because they truly made this happen. I too would like to, as Senator Kelly did, I'd like to single out our delegation. Representative Smith and myself are very fortunate to chair a delegation that is so coordinated put all differences aside, work as a team for the best of this city. The mayor has singled out the individuals here. I'd like to commend them and thank them for their support. And we look forward to the next session and working to continue the revitalization of this great city. Thank you all.
At this time, I would like to thank you very much, Paul. At this time, for just a few short remarks. She said she really didn't want to speak, but we would be, that's Senator Kells. Senator Kells ahead, sneaking in late. We would like to ask the president of our city council, who is extremely interested in this project for the jobs and also for the retail that it brings. She represents the 5th Ward of the city of Providence, which is a wonderful place, and she and her late husband have worked to make it a wonderful place. She has a great tradition of leadership in her family, and at this time I'd like to present to you the president of our city council, Evelyn Fognoli.
I'm glad that this process is over. We at the City Council watched every step. What's good for Providence is good for the state, and that's what we're all about. And I hope that my constituents will be the best shoppers this mall has ever enjoyed.
The next speaker, short and sweet, will be out of here by, 12:30. We're going to sign that thing before 12:30. Is a man who is somewhat spends more time in the city of Providence than most people who live here because he's president of the Chamber of Commerce. It's where he earns his living. You can usually see him at many lunches and many dinners at night, but you also can see him entertaining various business people who come looking for new sites to do business. I've grown to like him over the years and respect him. He does a good job at what he does, and I would like him to say a few words because he represents the coalition of business groups that have really and truly been from the very beginning and from the outset the main thrust behind getting this done along with labor, and we'll hear from labor next. But this time, it's Jim Hagan's turn to come up and say a few words about the successful completion of this governmental process before we put the shovel in the ground. Jim Hagan.
Thank you very much, Mayor. You know, I've been standing over here next to the mayor's advance man, and the mayor's advance man keeps beckoning the fat lady to the front to stand next to the mayor, and I must admit, the mayor looks terrific standing next to the fat lady. His pounds have just shed away in recent months. You know, we are very excited. The mayor often says that we're on a roll in the city of Providence. Recently, we hosted a visit by the mayor of Hartford, Connecticut, and the head of the Chamber of Commerce in Hartford. Tomorrow we had the head of the Chamber of Commerce from New Haven coming. We've had Chamber of Commerce heads from all over Massachusetts come down to find out what is happening in the city of Providence. And I think all of the business community, along with Mayor Cianci and his predecessor, Ambassador Paolino, have all had so much to do with what's happening in Providence today, as has Governor Sondland and Governor Alman and Providence City Council, our General Assembly, Delegate Providence and the General Assembly leadership, all need to be commended for their work, as well as the business community, the developers who have not been mentioned today, who have had the patience and the perseverance to hang in here through what I call as an experience like Chinese torture over the past 9 or 10 years. But they have hung in, and they have been out in front all of the way, all of our business leaders very quietly doing their thing to make this a reality. I just can't wait until the mall is built and we can begin a year-long celebration, just like they did in Indianapolis, where we can tie together the arts and entertainment district and the restaurants downtown with the mall, where we can tie together the neighborhoods in the city of Providence with the mall, where we can tie together the entire state of Rhode Island in this mall, so that all of the people in this region and our entire economy will be strengthened, because we know it will have ultimately an enormous economic impact on Rhode Island and the entire region. So let that celebration begin, and congratulations, Mayor, for being the leader to get this thing done. Thank you.
Thank you. This mall will bring with it 3,000 construction jobs and 2,500 permanent jobs. And the mall agreement says that those jobs have to go to people from Rhode Island whenever possible, and companies in Rhode Island whenever possible. And the big winner for that really, in many respects, of the building trades. And at this time, I asked Ronnie Coyer if he wanted to say a few words. He said, no, this is the Building Trades Day, and so let's have Jack Cronin, head of the building trades, who are going to reap great jobs from this project, to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. It seems like just yesterday this all started. About 2 years ago, I guess. I want to thank both governors. They've really helped us tremendously. The House, the Senate, the Mayor's office. All I can say for everybody is, boy, we definitely need the jobs. With the unemployment we have in this state, this is a great thing to happen to us. Thank you very much.
I'd like to acknowledge some people who are here standing beside me, and that's been Patricia McLaughlin, who has worked her heart out representing the city of Providence as the attorney. And I also want to acknowledge Frank Correnti, the Director of Administration, who always standing in the back, so no one can see him. But he's a very strong advocate of the mall, and also brought sense where there was no sense, and brought reasonableness to the mayor's office when we had to do this. I want you to know that this is the third ordinance that we've passed, and I think, and I know, because there's no more juice left, this is the final one. And hopefully this mall will begin as soon as possible. And the man who has stuck to it, stuck to his guns when this project began some 9 years ago, and that's really how long it's been, has been a man of determination. We've argued, we've fought, sometimes we didn't speak to each other, but I think we have a mutual respect for one another, and we know speaking a lot. What'd you say, speak for yourself, Dan? No. And it took this mall to bring two people together who have always disagreed. No, not really. Let me just say that Dan Lugosh has been a man of principle in this whole thing. He's taken a lot of bad raps from the newspaper, from citizens groups, but I can tell you that this particular project is one that he has had determination for from the very beginning. He's traveled the country, he has scoured for tenants, he has fought and been in an adversary relationship with government agencies. He's stuck to his guns, and I think that we all owe him a tremendous round of applause as he comes up to give us the starting date of the new mall, because it's now his turn to come here and tell us what his plans are for a starting date, and also for the future success of this great mall. This mall will work with the city. He's promised us that. This mall will have a transportation system that will work with the rest of the down city. It will have a movie cinema in the down city. It will pay for half the advertising costs for the down city advertising, and it will be a wonderful symbiotic relationship that this down city, with our arts district and our new skating rink and our new riverboat, will make this one of the most exciting cities in the world. Believe me, because we are going to be on a roll when this mall begins. And if Dan Lugosh didn't have the stick-to-itiveness and the determination, we wouldn't be here today anticipating 3,000 jobs. So let's give a nice welcome to Dan Lugosh, the developer of Providence Place.
Say nice things. I haven't signed it yet.
Thank you. You know, today, more than talking about what's going to happen in the future, it's worth spending just a minute talking about what's happened in the past, and to thank the people that have worked tirelessly to make this happen. It starts with the mayor. And, you know, the mayor's right. Anyone that says the mayor doesn't earn his pay is vastly underestimating how tough this guy is, and, you know, how hard he fought to maximize the benefits that this project would bring to the city. You know, it's when you have two guys that have very similar ideas, but, you know, different on the margins, it's amazing to watch how hard Mayor Cianci worked to make this project the best that it could be for the city, to make sure that the Down City Cinema was going to open in advance of the mall, and that it would be the best that it could be. And I congratulate the mayor for his tenacity and strong work here. the city council has, been through this process now. I was trying to count up the number of hearings, but I got to 20, and I think it was 22, but I got to 20, and I couldn't quite keep them all straight anymore. And they've worked over and over again to make this project fit with the changing times and the changing realities that the project needed, and it's done that. And I thank the city council for their third or fourth tax treaty now. And as I look back, we started this. We signed the first tax treaty 5 years ago with Governor Sunland and Mayor Cianci and I in the mayor's den.
That's right.
And I thought we were off to the races. I was sure that we would be open, a couple of years ago, and because we had done what was very hard, what hadn't been done anywhere in the Northeast at that point, to create a tax treaty of this nature. And times changed, and conditions changed, and the economy changed, tenants changed. But while all is said and done, this has been hard. We had to go to the legislature, which none of us wanted to do, I'm sure including the members of the legislature. I want to remember to thank Senator Kelly and Senator Irons for their good work in steering it through the legislature, and Paul Mora and Representative Howard and Carullo for their work, because we got a 2/3 majority for this tough vote. And I want to thank my friends from Labor. I want to thank my old friend, Mayor Ambassador Joe Paolino, who has all worked together with us right from the beginning to make this day possible. And while it's unfortunate that so much time has gone by and that we couldn't have been open to meet the completion of Water Place Park, we have a better project than we would have had with Nordstrom's, and we're ready to go. Okay. I just want to, again, thank everybody. I'm sure I left out several people, but we're excited. And as we've always said, as we work through this process, once we got done with all the government approvals, and we finished last September with the state approvals, and we finished, today with the city approvals, that within 60 or 90 days we'd be underway. With the onset of winter, we hope we can move that up a little bit, but we're going to do the best we can to get into the ground as soon as possible. Again, thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's only appropriate. I have to sign this in 3 places, and it needs some witnesses. And I think it's only appropriate that 2 gentlemen who worked from the very beginning on this project be the witnesses. And those 2 people are none other than Mayor Paolino and Governor Sunland to be the witnesses on the documents. I think that's appropriate. And then after I sign, we'll have them say a couple of words, but they want to get this done for TV live, I guess. So we'll do it. Now I'll put my hand to, this is the 3rd time I've done it. I hope it works this time.
I got a couple of pens out of this deal. Dan, thanks a lot. Gordon, we're good at pens.
Was I right or wrong?
That's right. That's a very good point. I I know.
Is that it?
What's going on?
We have two more speakers, and I'd like to recognize them for the work that they've done and the leadership that they've provided. The first one is the former governor of the state of Rhode Island, Bruce Sunland, who now has gone into the business I used to be in when I was out of office, and that is the, I was going to say entertainment, but the talk show business and also the commentating business. So at this time, let's have a big round of applause to a Providence native who did a lot for the city of Providence, former Governor Bruce Sunland.
I add my compliments to those that have already been given to everybody. But to be brief, let me tell you about the funniest incident that happened along the way. Dan Lugash's firm flew Buddy Cianci and me out to Seattle in order to try and get the Nordstrom family to commit the Nordstrom store to Providence Place. We arrived in Seattle at about midnight Seattle time. That's 3 o'clock in the morning, Providence time. We were tired. We walked into the lobby of the hotel. There was nobody there except the clerk behind the counter. He looked up, he took one look at us, and he said, "Governor Sunland, how nice to see you in Seattle. Mayor Cianci, it's great." I turned to Cianci and said, "My God, I didn't know we were that famous." Cianci said, "Smarten up. The kid went to Johnson and Wales."
Thank you. And no one worked harder on this project than Bruce Sunland, and no one worked harder than the next speaker, who kind of was the mayor when I took a vacation, and did a good job while he was here. And we want to welcome him home, and I'm sure that that the future of the city of Providence will include him in a lot of its activities. And so we want to welcome back former Mayor Joe Paolino and former ambassador, now the latest claim to fame, witness to the signatures, witnesser to the signature on the Providence Place Mall documents.
Vision, determination, leadership, all the people that are up here today, members of the City Council, the state legislature, the trade unions, the governor's office, this mayor, and all the staff involved are making today happen. Bringing about 2,500 good union jobs into the city of Providence, bringing about good jobs for workers in our state, making downtown Providence the downtown of all of Rhode Island by bringing in major retail into the city, truly fulfills the dream that was done back in the 70s when Governor Sunland, Mayor Cianci, and many others decided to rebuild Providence with the Capitol Center project. Providence Place Mall may have been controversial, but Providence Place Mall is good for the state of Rhode Island. This is a continued rebirth of the city and our state. These people need to be congratulated. In the next few years when that mall is built, people are going to say Providence truly is America's best city. Thank you very much.
Did we miss anybody? Well, there's one person in the audience, Leslie Gardner, who's head of the Capitol Senate Commission. We want to give her a big round of applause. Because the next step on the trail is the Capitol Senate Commission. And you know, this is a mall that they've guaranteed us will be, as I said, symbiotic with the rest of the city. It will be architecturally a delight, and it will work with the rest of the city in so many different ways. And we can make this city, as Mayor Paolino says, the best city in America. It already is well on its way. And I want to thank everyone who came today, everyone for staying with this project, even though at times seemed extremely dark. And by the way, this time last year, only 41% of the people in the city of Providence wanted this mall built, and 46% didn't want it built. As of today, about 60% want it built, almost, and something like 33 don't want it built. And I know there had to be compromises, and I know there had to be some people who were a little dissatisfied, some who were very satisfied. The fact is, we have to work together, and you can't satisfy all the people all the time. But we'll do our best to have this mall have the most positive influence on our down city that any other project has ever had. Thank you all very much for coming, and let's go and build the Providence Place Mall right away. Thank you.